Florida State redshirt freshman quarterback Jameis Winston's already a bit of a legend in the Florida State spring game. He had 12 of 15, couple of touchdowns, but a lot of guys can do that. Only one other person has ever done this, throw a football over the Pike House in Tallahassee. It's about a 70-yard throw, and not many can do this. As Jameis got his Bo Jackson on and threw out a Clemson runner trying to take third. So he has become a sensation. Number 5 jerseys being sold in the bookstore, and now Winston's first snap as the Seminole quarterback will come with Florida State trailing 7-0. Winston doesn't have good field position at his own 14-yard line, but Florida State is fortunate to have the football at all. Winston's first pass is complete. It's to Kelvin Benjamin. Benjamin, the big fella, is going to have a first down. Winston rolling, firing into the middle of the field. He's Winston's 2 for 2 in the backfield. They'll try quarterback draw. Winston getting into Pittsburgh territory. About 1.5. Shuffle pass to Ben. Defensive back. Winston on second down. Winston looking for O'Leary. It's a touchdown, and Jameis Winston's first touchdown toss. Nick O'Leary on the grab.
So far, I've been very, very impressed with Jameis Winston handling the pressure, getting the football out of his hands, and having a plan, knowing where to go, knowing where his answers are.
On the point after, and they get burned for a touchdown by Jameis Winston, who showed a little niftiness in the pocket and found Nick O'Leary. O'Leary making the grab. Noles, Panthers tied at 7.
And here it is. Watch the blitz come right up the gut. You'll see him come. Look at him slide his feet a little bit to the left. Knows he's going to get hit. Makes a great throw down the field. Look at him talking, too.
You can take a look at what he saw. Here's the free safety that's going to shoot out of the screen. He's got a double move by O'Leary here in a complete wide open area over the middle of the field. Just this soft slide. Here comes the pressure off the right edge by Brian Murphy. Just a little shuffle step. Keeps his eyes focused and trained downfield. A very accurate throw under duress.
Winston's hit his first Panthers secondary. Winston gets it out. Kenny Shaw. Shaw across the 6'5", 235. Winston. Here's Benjamin. Winston gets away from Aaron Donald. J-Boo on the run.
We talked about the chemistry between Winston and Kelvin Benjamin. Take a look at this post route and how wide open it is downfield. Jameis just doesn't give it a chance. He's going to drop back. Now Benjamin clears. That's the throw. That's the touchdown.
So where's the chemistry then?
Well, he's got to see it.
In Pittsburgh territory at the 40s. We start the second quarter. Winston sure to be a lead blocker. Winston instead will pull it out and throwing for the second time tonight. He hits Nick O'Leary for a touchdown.
Little trickeration right there. You bring the big body package in, a couple defensive players lining up on offense, making it look like you're going to pound the football straight ahead, and there goes Nick O'Leary again. Good job avoiding a defender, getting in the back corner of the end zone. Nice ball fake by Jameis Winston, makes it look like run. A little bit too close. Okay, maybe. As he runs in with James Wilder Jr., but then able to kind of collect himself. Good poise.
We're getting Monday nights warmed up college football. Jameis Winston remains perfect. Winston firing, Green.
You mentioned it earlier, Jameis Winston throws with great anticipation, and that's hard to find in a freshman, but he let this football go before Rashad Green had even come out of his break. Decisive at the line of scrimmage, not predetermining where he's throwing it. Let the coverage dictate where you throw it, and he is dialed in.
Winston, a perfect 10 for 10, 11 for 11. They found a little something. There more times on the Rashad Green blow-up type blocks that we've seen over the years as Winston fires to the outside. Kenny Shaw makes another grab in there. The ball didn't hit the ground, but they're going to say Shaw was out of bounds, and that would be the first incompletion of the night.
You know, and barely an incompletion. Jameis Winston told me that throwing the shake route is his favorite route. That's exactly what this was. It's kind of like a post corner. He puts it out in an area where his receiver can catch the ball. I'm not sure if his left foot didn't touch first.
Not buzzed down to stop, and so the Noles will have to convert. Winston hit as he throws, and he put it right on the money to Green. It's a first down.
Wow. The second time tonight we've seen Jameis Winston make a very accurate throw with pressure in his face. You're going to see it here coming at the bottom of the screen. And just great anticipation on the post throw over the middle of the field. A very catchable ball for Rashad Green, who lined up in the slot. It's very impressive, Reese. I mean, we've seen a lot of big-time throws tonight so far from Jameis Winston.
Aaron Donald All-conference level defensive lineman Winston feeling it. Fires out another completion, and Green is having a... Winston firing. Got Benjamin. First down, Florida State.
Jameis Winston loves facing the blitz. He told me throughout his high school career, he was blitzed every play. So he's used to having to get the football out. You see, this time, Pitt brings pressure from the field, and it never affects his eyes. His eyes stay downfield focused, reading coverage, waiting for Kelvin Benjamin to come out of his break. It's very rare a freshman quarterback ever says to you, yeah, you know, I actually prefer when people blitz me.
He stood in and delivered a laser right on Benjamin, so that Winston run with it. Winston into the end zone. Touchdown, Florida State.
The offense doesn't change. When E.J. Manuel was here, we saw a lot of those same types of run plays down close to the goal line. You see the same thing with Jameis Winston. Now, I don't think Winston has E.J. Manuel's speed, but he's a pretty physical runner. That's the third time tonight I've seen him run, not slide, take on defenders, and they're falling backwards in a way. I'm not comparing him to him,
right,
but his running style reminds me a lot of Cam Newton. I'm not comparing him to him.
And really, not that Jameis is slow, not quite as fast. It's part of the legend. He ran a 4 time in the 40s, so he learned some running mechanics, and all of a sudden, pretty quick guy. He's a quick learner. He's got a lightning arm, and now he's scored with his feet. Seminoles up 21-10. A haymaker right before the half. Winston screen. Freeman. Flag coming. This one's going to come back. He's in a hole. Winston has to fire. Fires in traffic, and everything's going well. Rashad Green out of bounds, close to the 20-yard line, and a first down with 46 seconds remaining in the half. They picked up 32 yards. A very risky throw by Jameis Winston. He's looking downfield. The pressure from Price on the loop inside from defensive end forced Jameis Winston to take his eyes down. Now that's a needle, but that's nearly an interception, and gets away with one there. But give Green a lot of credit for coming back to the football, making a big body catch. That was a huge play for the Noles, and hurt for one, and that's going to be even worse. Green, touchdown, Florida State on a roll. Jameis Winston to Rashad Green, and his 27-10 extra point coming. I don't know how many times tonight, Reese, we've seen Jameis Winston convert second, third, and long situations. I mean, there was an illegal block penalty that set them back 15 yards. Then they get a delay of game. On the very next play, deep completion to Rashad Green. And then on the very next play after that, once again, Green over the middle of the field. So after the interception thrown by Tom Savage, 3 plays, 41 yards, Seminoles go into the end zone. And before the game, we were talking about the lofty expectations and how in the world could this freshman in his first game ever live up to them. Let's see, what's going to happen to the hype meter when you play your first half of college football and all you do is go 17 for 18 for 240 yards, 3 scores, and you run for another one. Now, you were at practice at Florida State a couple of weeks ago, got a chance to watch Jameis. Anything lead you to believe that there would be this type of performance right out of the box? Okay, if I'm being 100% truthful and honest, absolutely not. Because Jameis Winston struggled severely at the practice that I saw. Now, it's one practice. It's nowhere near the framework and the body of work. It's a small sample size. But the day I saw him 2 weeks ago in full padded practice against the scout team, Reese, he was wildly inaccurate. The ball was on the ground a lot. He was making the wrong reads. And I think it was concerning his head coach, Jimbo Fisher, a little bit. Now, I'm not ready to crown anybody just yet. This is a half of football, and he's been unbelievable. But I'm starting to get the sense Jameis Winston might just be a gamer. Seriously. You noticed that too, huh? He might just be the type of guy that the lights need to be on, the cameras have to be rolling, and the scoreboard has to count to play his best football. He told me, I talked to him after that practice, and he said, to be honest, I got to become a better practice player. He goes, I have to understand when we're playing against the scout team, I got to pick my tempo up. I got to dial in mentally more than I do. He admits that, but so far in a half of football, it's pretty close to flawless. All right. Well, you're 17 of 18. I don't mean to diminish the performance in any way, shape, form, or fashion. This is This is not a vintage Pittsburgh Steelers defense that he's going against, and they have had some receivers running free through the secondary.
Yeah, and listen, he's had a lot of time tonight. Now, in fairness, there have been times he's had defenders in his face.
Sure.
And he's still made the right read, and they're not necessarily dink and dunk throws. We haven't seen him throw a lot of hot routes, a lot of slants. I mean, he's pushing the football down the field.
28-10 behind brilliant play from redshirt freshman Jameis Winston. Reese Davis and Jesse Palmer here, and Winston, I think about the only misstep he had the entire night was that gold shirt. I mean, I know the team colors and all. Other than that, it was
you're a
money.
Fashionista, Reese Davis. You're right. A lot of people wondered if he even could live up to the hype. The expectations and the bars were set so high, but this guy has been dialed in, both throwing and running the football. We've seen the gamut. Jimbo Fisher did not lay off at all with respect to his play calling. He's allowed the redshirt freshman to go out and win this game for him. You see the incompletion right there, Reese? I'm not even sure that was an incompletion to Kenny Shaw on the sidelines. He's been about as perfect as you can be playing the quarterback position tonight.
Shaw was ruled out of bounds. We had to look at it. Replay officials didn't stop it, though every play is reviewed. It looked as if maybe the back foot hit first, but no passes hit the ground.
Yeah.
For Jameis Winston, which is a remarkable thing. No matter who's, that's pretty good against air.
I was just going to say that's hard to do against air, and the fact that he's been out here with a calm demeanor, reading coverages, being decisive, having a plan. It's a half of football. There's still a half to go. The evaluation on Jameis Winston across the country will continue now in the second half. But
get the ball back and get a score. Now Winston, a little miscommunication in the backfield, but that'll fix it. Kenny Shaw's running free. Shaw into Pittsburgh territory and inside the 35. Shane Gordon tracks him down, but the second half starts as the first half ended.
He's not flustered, and there are a lot of freshman quarterbacks that would turn to hand the football off and not see a running back like he does right here and completely freak out and turn around and take off running with the football. Jameis Winston just calmly turns around, goes through his progression. Oh, there's Kenny Shaw working the middle of the field. That's my second receiver on the read. Here you go, completion.
Pressure coming on Winston. He dumps it out. Freeman's got blockers in front of him. Devontae Freeman's expectations for this year. Their arch rivals, Jameis Winston, running the option, and this time Jameis. Well, that's the first time Jameis has let the ball hit the ground tonight.
You know what I was going to say? One thing I have noticed up until that play, one thing he already does better than E.J. Manuel ever did, ball security. When he's scrambling around, he always has two hands on the football, something E.J. Manuel always wasn't great at.
Hey, look at Kevin Durant tweeting. He said, this guy, Jameis Winston, may be a believer after one half of football. Kevin Durant is a huge football fan. Watches all the time. If it's on, if college football is on, Kevin's watching it.
Believer already after a half.
Well, there wasn't much not to believe in. And J.J.
close to perfect.
Be the guest with Keith Olbermann tonight, coming up in about half an hour. Jameis Winston to Kelvin Benjamin. He turned it loose, and the Seminoles are threatening again down around the 30-yard line. Winston picked up 28 yards. Let's watch Benjamin get free.
Kelvin Benjamin is already a way better player from where he was a year ago. He's really smoothed his game out. You know, there used to be a time where he was just a big body and line up on the goal. Winston
keeps it after the fake, throwing. There's his second incomplete pass of the night. Third down and 6. Winston throws it up, and it's incomplete, and Panthers find a way to stop the Seminole offense. Anthony Gonzalez was the one applying the heat to Winston, and the Seminoles will have to settle the national championship. Florida State really doesn't want to wait on the national championship. Winston stayed on his feet long enough to dump it out to Chad Abram, and Abram. Winston fires complete. First down. Rashad Green. 3 touchdowns so far.
Red shirt set.
And
ready to play well now.
Well, we're an instant society, and there's another complete well as Charlie Ward did. Going to throw another touchdown pass to Nick O'Leary. What a debut it's been for Jameis Winston. We'll step out and say the best debut for a Florida State quarterback. 4 touchdowns, only 2 incompletions. When you have twice as many touchdowns as incompletions, that's good.
I'm not even sure he had 2 incompletions. I think he had 1. But it was very, 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 very unlikely that he could have lived up to the hype, because it was a hype machine. And I would argue he did that tonight.